So yeah, super delicious. You can see that little crust right there from the potato starch. It's just what you want. Hey guys, what's going on? Patrick here at All Day I Eat Like a Shark, where I share my Japanese recipes with one video per week. If you are interested in learning how to cook Japanese food, consider subscribing. Today what we're going to be doing is making tofu kabayaki steaks. So this is a little bit similar to what I did previously with my tofu kabayaki donburi, which was part of my live cooking season 2. If you want to check that episode out, you'll see how I made kabayaki unagi, or fake unagi, with tofu and yamaimo. Very delicious. So today we're going to be doing a little bit of a different take on that. It's going to be using firm tofu, and we're going to be making steaks. So little squares that we're going to saute in a little bit of potato starch and olive oil. I have my ingredients all here laid out. We have some green onion, some ginger that we're going to grate, toasted sesame seeds, 1 block of firm tofu, some honey. We're going to be using 2 tablespoons of mirin, 3 tablespoons of shoyu, soy sauce, and 1 tablespoon of sake, and a couple drops of honey. That'll be for the sauce. First thing that we're going to be doing is getting all of the excess water out of the tofu. We're going to be using the microwave today. There's several ways that you can cut out the water from the tofu. It's called mizu o kiru. That means to remove the water from the tofu. We're going to be using the microwave today because it's one of the quickest. We're going to go ahead and microwave that for about 2 minutes and 30 seconds. So depending on how strong your microwave is, you may have to do it longer or a little bit shorter than that. We're going to go ahead and mix all of these sauce ingredients together. So like I said, 3 tablespoons soy sauce, 2 tablespoons of mirin, and a tablespoon of sake. Add a couple drops of honey in. And this will be for the sauce. So we're going to glaze the tofu steaks after they have lightly browned on both sides. Just put in a couple drops. It's about maybe a 1/4 teaspoon's worth of honey. I don't really like my sauce too sweet. So if you like yours sweeter, add a little bit more, or you can also use sugar as well. So this is potato starch. We're going to dredge the tofu steaks on both sides. And you can use cornstarch if you can't find potato starch. They're interchangeable. We're going to use my large cast iron pan since it's a little bit non-stick, and we'll saute the tofu on both sides until they're lightly browned. They don't need to be dark brown, just lightly browned. Put on about maybe 3 tablespoons worth of olive oil. You may need to add a little bit more as the oil gets soaked up. So meanwhile, we can prepare the ginger and the green onion. So these are just going to be to garnish. So I'm going to use about a tablespoon's worth of fresh ginger. That looks pretty good right there. Green onion, we're just going to thinly slice. Set this in there. You can also use regular onion if you don't have green onion. I'm just going to slice these as thinly as possible. So if you've never heard of kabayaki before, it's a sweet and salty sauce. They usually use it with eel. It's a traditional kabayaki, but we're trying to eat a little bit more tofu these days, and so that's why we're using tofu steaks. It has plenty of flavor, and all you need really is just a little bit of rice. So we're just gonna eat some rice, and that will be our little meal for today. Pretty straightforward and easy, comes together very quickly, just the way we like it. Here is the tofu, which has a little bit of the water removed from it. Some of the other techniques take longer, like putting a weight on it, obviously. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this into little squares. Take this out. Be careful because it's hot. And then we'll pat it dry to make sure that there isn't too much excess water getting on getting combined with the potato starch. I'm going to go ahead and preheat my saute pan. We'll cut this right down the middle, and then we'll make these about a 1/2 inch thick. So little squares. So this is a bigger block of tofu. This is a 19-ounce block. Sometimes I get the 19-ounce or the 14-ounce, whichever one is on sale. Yeah, we'll just leave that last piece there. It's a little bit thick, but that's fine. You can see a little bit more water came out. Go ahead and soak that up with a paper towel. And then we're gonna go ahead and dredge each of these pieces on both sides very lightly with some of the potato starch, and that'll give it a nice crust. If you don't want to use paper towels, save some trees, you could just use a kitchen towel and let the excess water get soaked up there. I do that sometimes. So if they're a little bit wet like this, you want to make sure to get all that excess moisture off before you dip it into the potato starch. You don't want to get big clumps. You just want it to be lightly coated. And once you pan fry the second side of the tofu, you can add on the sauce. And we're going to cook them together. That way the sauce will get absorbed into the tofu as well as the potato starch coating that we're making. And it'll be packed with flavor. So a little bit different from the previous recipe where we are actually combining the sauce and cooking it with the tofu. So both of them are good in my opinion. I would definitely recommend you try both out, see which one you like more, or you may like them both just like me. So we'll just start with this half of the block right now. So just lightly coat it like that. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and put them on here. It's similar to agadashi tofu, but we're not using as much oil, and obviously the sauce is different. So I use my fish spatula to flip it since we don't want the tofu to break apart. Alright, so you'll notice that the sides of the tofu start turning yellowish, and that's when you know that you can flip them over. So the bottom should be nice, getting a light tan brown. So it looks like that one is a little bit early. This one's just about ready. So it's important if you're using cast iron that you preheat it because the heat takes a while to distribute evenly through the heavy metal. So give that a minute. Garnish is ready to go. We have some ginger, toasted sesame seeds. We'll plate it on this little plate and then serve it with some hot rice. Hot rice is ready to go. Look at that. Okay, so I think this is about ready. I'm going to go ahead and put in the sauce. I'm going to use about half of it. And then I'm going to try and coat each of the pieces. Actually, I'll just flip it back over. Get a nice little coating on there. Make sure all of them have some sort of sauce stuck to it a little bit. And if you have the heat up, turn it down so that the sauce doesn't burn. It does burn relatively easily. You can smell it's starting to smell delicious, just like the Kabayaki sauce normally would. Very sweet and savory at the same time. So you'll notice it starts to thicken up thanks to the potato starch as well as the alcohol evaporating off. So two things happening there. And I'm just flipping these to make sure that they're evenly coated with the sauce. I'm gonna go ahead and put these on a plate. So this is probably sufficient for one person who isn't that hungry. If you're really hungry, you probably want a little bit more than this. We'll go ahead and put on some of the garnishes here. Just a little bit of sesame seeds. Smells so good. Some green onion and then some ginger. And then you can just serve this with some white rice and you have a nice tofu steak meal ready to go in about 10-15 minutes. Not too bad, right? A little bit of ginger on each of these. So I'm just putting maybe like an 1/8 of a teaspoon of ginger. You can obviously put as much as you want. Here are my tofu kabayaki steaks, pan fried lightly with a little bit of potato starch. It's a delicious way to make tofu. Pretty straightforward, pretty easy, and all you need is some white rice. So you can also use soft tofu, but you have to be a little bit more careful when you're flipping them because it tends to break. That's why I use firm tofu today. All right, guys, so question of the day. Have you guys made tofu steaks before? If so, how did you season them? Let me know in the comments below, and let me know also if you will be making this tofu steak recipe. I'd love to hear from you. Yeah, I wonder if these would taste good in a hamburger. Tofu steak, tofu kabayaki steak hamburgers. That could be something we're trying. Or sliders. I think these would probably be better as sliders because they're so small, right? Tofu kabayaki sliders. Maybe we'll give that a try. All right, I will see you in my next video, and thanks for watching. See ya.